You're going to do some research, and you're going out onto the internet to choose some sources. What should you know so that you can choose trustworthy internet sources? Just what is this internet anyway? One thing to remember is that the internet connects computers and people all over the world. Anyone with the right device can get on the internet and can publish information on the internet. It is estimated that at any given moment in time, there are over 2 billion people using the internet. That means that you have to be extremely careful when you are choosing an internet website. You need to know where it came from and who is behind it. It helps if you understand some of the basic parts of a web page. This is the Google search screen. At the top of the page is the address bar. In the middle of the page, where you type, that is called the search window. What you type into Google to search by is extremely important. Try to leave out all the small words and only put in the important nouns. These are called your keywords or search terms. The computer will search for whatever you type first, so put them in the order of most important to least important. Once you hit enter or go, you will get a list of possible places for you to look for your information. This is called a hit list or results list. What shows up at the top of the screen is Google's top choice. That does not mean that it is the best one for you. With Google, what shows up at the top of your list is usually either what lots of people have chosen before or a site that has a lot of blue links that will take you other places. Your hit list actually starts later on the page. However, you will always be given the title of the web page and the address or URL of the web page. This is what we look at first to find out if we want to look at the web page. It is important that when you look at this list, you read each summary. Then you take a look at the address and try and see what it can tell you. Finally, you go to each page and look for specific details. If you don't find anything that matches your search on the first page, you need to go back and change the words that you used to search for information. After reading the summaries, I decided to take a look at the Homestead Act page from Britannica. On an iPad, to see the whole web page address, you have to tap in the address bar. What can I learn from this address? Well, I can learn who the company or publisher is. Britannica is the company that is publishing this information. And I can learn what we call the domain, the 3 letters that come after a dot, like .com or .edu. The domain gives me an idea of the purpose of the page. .com means it's coming from a company. .org is organization. .edu is a school. .gov is from the government. This domain is just another clue that can help me figure out who is behind the page and why they decided to put it on the internet. After looking at the address, I notice a couple of other items on the page. One is this message that says they have a cookie policy. These are not the cookies you eat. On the internet, cookies keep track of what you are doing, and they share that information with the publisher. I also notice this section that talks about getting a free 7-day trial. That's an advertisement, but it's only one, so it's not that distracting. It's only after those other two items are shared that I can see the actual title of the information. I scrolled through the page and noticed a lot of detailed information, many numbers and dates and names of people and places. I also noticed way at the bottom that it has a 2021 copyright date. So after noticing all of those things, how do I decide if this is trustworthy? Now I have to stop and think RAD. R-A-D. If I remember those letters, I can remember the criteria that will help me choose a trustworthy website. R is for relevant. Is the website sharing information that's useful? Does it answer some of my questions like who, what, when, where, why, and how? If it does not, I don't want it. A is for author and accurate. Is the author an expert? Does the information match some of my other sources? To know if an author is an expert, I look for a link to information about him or her. Also, I look to see if the author has included a list of the sources they used to find their information. Sometimes the author is the company or the organization. Then I have to make a decision if I want to trust them or not, depending on what I can find out about that company or that organization. As I look at the information, if I am noticing things like spelling errors and grammar mistakes, then I know that this person probably is not trustworthy, and neither is their information. D is for detailed and up-to-date. As I look at the information, does it have a lot of names and dates and events, specific facts? I look at the bottom of the page to see when it was made or when it was updated. Of course, sometimes the date is not very important. If we're learning about facts from history, there probably hasn't been a lot of changes. The other thing to watch out for are the opinion words. It was a beautiful sight. It was a grisly war. These are clues that someone is giving an opinion. When I look back at my Britannica webpage, the information is relevant. It matches my search. But I cannot really tell who the author is. I do know it's coming from Britannica, which is a pretty trustworthy company. Finally, there are lots of details on this page. I would consider this page trustworthy, but I would still look at a couple of the others to see if it's giving me something more interesting or something that I haven't already gotten from another source. When we first start to do this, it takes some time. Eventually, you get pretty good at it. But remember, when you look at your list, read the summary, then analyze the address, then go to the page and look at the information. When you are on the page, think RAD. Is it relevant? Is the author an expert? Is it accurate? Is it detailed? And is it up to date? If your answers are yes, chances are it's a trustworthy site. You will probably make some mistakes along the way, but the more you practice and the more you think about why you are choosing the page, the better you will get at this critical skill.